Since y'all talking about Black Ops 6, today is the day in which the Black Ops 6 beta dropped. I wanted to open up the stream by talking about a Call of Duty killer. A Call of Duty killer. The game that said it was the next big shooter because there was no skill-based matchmaking. That was one of the features they were touting. Although studies have come out and say y'all prefer skill-based matchmaking. The only people who hate it are pro gamers, because they're upset that they can't come into regular lobbies and dunk on you and I. So instead, they have to play against people their own skill level, and they're not always winning. And to them, that's not fun. Wah. Life doesn't revolve around niggas who sit in their chair that stinks. You people are on fraud watch. But we're not here to get on MLG gamers. We got on them earlier in the week. We're here to talk about XDefiant. The game that I said, it was okay. But for some reason, XDefiant was really weird because the beta was better than the actual game. The beta was actually smooth and it felt more balanced. Then some reports came out that there were some toxic things going on in the workplace, and some of the higher ups at Ubisoft wanted to implement more features that were in Call of Duty that the XDefiant team didn't want. So they were clashing heads during the development process. And anytime the suits tried to implement a new feature in, it would break something that was already in the game. And that might explain why when the full game came out, the hit registration was not good at all. I mean, it's a lot. I've never played a first-person shooter where I died you're clearly behind a corner, but the bullets would bend around the corner and kill you like that movie Wanted. So the hit registration was terrible. There was a lack of content, and it took a while before they finally dropped some content. And when the season 1 did come out, it didn't really seem like anybody cared. And then the game was full of hackers. The game was full of hackers. And the fourth and final strike for XDefiant, in my opinion, is not only was the game full of hackers, XDefiant might be the first video game I've ever played where it was running rampant with gaslighters in the community. One thing I'll give about Call of Duty niggas, at least they know their community ain't shit. They know it's toxic. They know it's full of Zen and Titan users, and they know it's full of wall hackers. They know. And they do their best to try to bitch and complain to the developers to fix it, but seems like Activision doesn't really care that much. So at least they're self-aware to some degree. But the XDefiant community, the week the game came out, I was seeing clips all over Twitter of people dealing with hackers. Then I ran into some myself on stream. We got the clips. Niggas glitching out the wall. Niggas getting infinite headshots. I remember there was one match we were in. We weren't even in the match for 30 seconds. This dude had like 20 headshots. Like, they don't even try to hide that they're fucking cheating, bro. We had the clips. I showed it in my video. Go read the comments. Niggas in the comments, man, that's your problem. I ain't see none of that. Fake. We're living in a really weird time where you show evidence of something and motherfuckers act like Stevie Wonder. So this game had 4 strikes going against it, and I said, if they don't clean this up real soon, because there's a juggernaut coming called Black Ops 6, this shit is dead. Got called a hater. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an article that came out yesterday from Insider Gaming that the owner, Tom Henderson, wrote. He's the owner. I've seen him on Twitter. Exclusive. XDefiant. Oh, by the way, before we even get into it too, I forgot to add this. What was it, like 2 weeks ago on stream? I brought up that the numbers were dwindling on Xbox, the Xbox version of XDefiant. In the top 55 games on Xbox played, XDefiant was like number 53. We couldn't find the PlayStation numbers, but it was barely in the top 55 games played online. So I was like, oh, this game's dying already. So it's safe to assume the numbers are probably similar on PlayStation. But anyways, exclusive. XDefiant is on borrowed time as player numbers decline rapidly. People swear I'm talking shit. Now it's time to get out your feelings, because numbers don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes they do with context, but for the most part, they don't. According to several sources at Ubisoft, they've got moles. Reached out to Tom and said, Ubisoft San Francisco has until the end of Season 3 of XDefiant to improve the game's bleak This nigga used the word bleak. Bleak player numbers. XDefiant was all the buzz when it launched in May 2024. The game exceeded 1 million unique players in its first 2.5 hours and exceeded over 8 million players in its first week. Executives were thrilled at the title's future and even reported in the company's latest press release that XDefiant revenue contributed to Q1 2025 financial success. But now, just 6 weeks from Q1's financial report, Ubisoft's HQ wants player numbers to increase by Season 3, or XDefiant risks losing its much-needed post-launch support. Translation: if you don't improve things by Season 3, we will start sunsetting this game. And this is interesting too. And by going to TwitchCon San Diego, and it's funny because I had a conversation with my agent about that yesterday. If I have business there, if there's like a brand deal or something, then yeah, but to just go, no. So it's like probably like a 70-30. We're shopping around. There's some ideas being thrown around. It's a possibility. I don't want to say no, but I gotta have business to be there. I don't just be hanging out. But anyways, back to the story. Welcome to the stream, by the way, Back Pain. Who's auntie you giving back pain? Yo, shout out to 9-1. I think I'm gonna show my age here, but I mean we know because you niggas make TikToks. And once again, what I'm about to say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But time and time again, I see on my For You page, whether it's on TikTok or IG Reels or Twitter, just young niggas in schools, just not doing any work, recording videos, dancing and shit, to the point I've constantly made jokes on this stream. I'm like, do you niggas do anything in school now? And then what? Reports claim the average reading level in the United States is 8th grade, which kind of backs up my suspicion that motherfuckers is not learning anything in school these days. I say that to say this. Because you niggas is barely reading anymore, and the ones who can read, you can barely read, makes me wonder, did some of y'all not read the book, The Tortoise and the Hare? Don't worry, I got you. It's a very simple book, but it had a great life lesson in it. One that I always reference on this stream because it was real. The moral of the story is slow and steady wins the race. Just because you had a great start does not mean you're gonna have a great finish. This game came out, broke all types of records. People were like, this is the next big thing. And I said, this game's free. Where my Costco members at? You ever been to Costco? You ever been to Costco? And you know exactly what you're there to get. You got a list on your phone of things you want to get for groceries. You got to go through this aisle, but it's 15 niggas in line to get free samples. Get your fat ass out of my way. Tortas everywhere. BBWs. Old people. Yeah, we trying to efficiently shop. They in the way. Why? Because there's free samples. If it's free, niggas gonna say, get me. So just because something does great numbers at the beginning doesn't mean anything if the context is it was free. What are we talking about here? The real test is 3 to 6 months after something launches for free. Are people buying anything? Is it sustaining the player base? Freaking, Tortoise and PVWs. So you have to always keep that in mind. Just because you start fast doesn't mean you're going to end fast. Pace yourself. How many times you ever been on a treadmill or you've been outside for a run? Halfway through your 3-mile run, you was like, damn, I should have paced myself. You should end the race fast. You shouldn't start it fast. Control your breathing. Anyways, let's keep reading. Eternally, optimism for the game has shifted. Niggas is now feeling good about this one. Primarily due to the game's continuously declining player base and a lack of spending. And let's get something straight. I don't like to see people lose their jobs. I don't like to see people lose. I want to see more good games. I think what I've realized over the years, I'm just laughing because I was right. What I've realized over the years is because I'm so unemotional with a lot of things, I approach things from a very objective standpoint. And even if I am biased, I'll usually admit it. Like I say I'm biased about Mass Effect, but for the most part, I'm usually not biased about anything. I fail to realize most people, I would say 90% of the world's population approaches a conversation from a very emotional standpoint. And this has nothing to do with video games. We can apply this to video games, movies, politics, religion. I feel. The people love to talk about what they feel and versus what it actually is. And I'll present some data to people and they dismiss it because they feel something else. And then you wonder why the bitches ain't feeling you. Be a leader. Anyways, one source told me that the game has been struggling to obtain. One source told me that the game has been struggling to obtain 20,000 concurrent players across all platforms, whereas another said they, Ubisoft, would probably be happy with that number, suggesting that it's now much lower. The declining numbers have created tension and anxiety within the team, with sources who spoke to me believing that more layoffs are only a matter of time. You have to understand, when I critique things, it's coming from a place of love. When I critique things, it's because I want to see things do better. I've never said this game was trash. I don't understand why some people are so resistant to better. This is why 2K fucking sucks every year. People be scared for change. It's okay to criticize things as long as it's constructive. You niggas listen to Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror and don't understand the song. Niggas be singing, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. You're just singing. And it goes back to what? The average reading level is 8th grade. You're singing those lyrics. You're reading those lyrics on Spotify and Apple. And you're reading it, but are you understanding it? This shit is getting weird. Let's keep reading. Which, by the way, 20,000 concurrent players. That's across Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. This is a free game. This game came out like, what, a month and a half, 2 months ago? It came out, what, like July or something? It's been out for like 2 months. No, a month, something like that. It hasn't been that long. It has not been that long. Anyways, it's not like Ubisoft San Francisco isn't already feeling the pressure either. Earlier this month, Ubisoft cut off 45 jobs in San Francisco. We just read about that in its North Carolina offices. With around, well, yeah, anything's better than Concord. While actively working on XDefiant, and even more at the studio losing their jobs due to Rocksmith Plus scaling down. Frustrations with the studio are aimed at the leadership, who refuse to take responsibilities for the project's shortcoming, which could have been avoided with a better studio culture. In late March 2024, I reported on the studio's toxic work culture, and despite an internal investigation that concluded last month, I was told that the issues have been swept under the rug. Of course they've been swept under the rug. It was an internal investigation. If there are problems in the workplace, you can't investigate yourself. That's like asking you to proofread your own work. That's why your teacher do it. Because if you do it, you most likely just won't see it, or you're going to be biased and you choose not to see it. But when your teacher grades your work, it's going to come back with a bunch of red lines. We've looked at the problem. We didn't find anything. Man, shut your bitch ass up, bro. What is you talking about, bro? As for XDefiant's future, leadership is betting all their money on Season 3 to turn things around. But with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 set to release between Season 2 and 3, those I spoke to are feeling pessimistic about the game's future. One source even went as far as to say, expect more Ubisoft San Francisco layoff headlines within 6 months. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. In 6 months, expect more Ubisoft San Francisco layoff headlines. I'm not going to go as far as to say the game is 100% dead. I'm going to go with what this article says. It says some people are hopeful of Season 3. Maybe that means they have something up their sleeve. One thing I will say about this game where they really fucked up is, once again, how the fuck did you release a Ubisoft hero shooting game and there's no Assassin's Creed class? You got the Liberty people from Far Cry 6. Nobody even likes Far Cry 6. You could have at least got one from Far Cry 3, 4, or 5. Like, what the fuck is that? Then you got a Splinter Cell class, which makes sense because it's a shooter, but we haven't seen a Splinter Cell game in 10 years. But there's no Assassin's Creed class? There's no Templars class? Like, what are we talking about here? There were so many missteps with this game. So I'm not going to say 100% it's dead, but it's definitely on its deathbed. I think for season 3, if they don't make a big splash with some type of crazy content, because one reason why I'm not going to be like, oh, this shit is 100% dead and I end up eating my words is, let's not forget Destiny was on its way out the door too. Destiny was on its way out the door, and then they dropped that Taken King DLC, and whew, they was out of here. So it is possible to turn the ship around. That being said, context does matter too. When the Taken King came out, there was really not as much live service competition. Nowadays, there's way more competition in the live service space. You got your Destiny 2s. You got staples like Destiny 2 and Fortnite, which don't seem to be going anywhere. And then you have your lesser bottom tier games that broke niggas love to play that are absolutely horrible, but you still will gas it. The First Disappointment, aka the First Descendant. XDefiant is probably somewhere between those two. Yeah, you got your World of Warcraft. You got games like that people will pay for, or Final Fantasy 14. Despite what some of y'all say, you niggas love live service games. So I'm not going to totally write this off. I'm going to be 100% objective and be fair. The First Depressant, Diablo, I'm going to be 100% fair. But it seems like the developers say season 3 is going to make or break. They have to make a splash to turn if season 3 comes out and nobody's talking about it, they're out of here. They're out of here. Dead by Daylight, yeah, they're out of here. And I'm gonna be honest, if I had to make a bet right now based off the current vibe, I feel like they're out of here, but I'm not gonna give a 100%. I'm not gonna give a, because I don't want to give a definitive answer and that come back to bite my ass, because nobody, as the wise man named Justin Bieber once said, never say never. You feel me? Road Company, yeah, that game died real quick. But yeah. XDefiant, man. Hopefully they get it together. Because at the end of the day, jokes aside, as much as I do love to be right, I do love to also see people keep their jobs as well. But we wouldn't even have to be in this situation if people just listen to the people. Give the people what they want, and we could have less layoffs. You'd make more money. Shout out to Zayna with the sub. I appreciate you. So that is my update on the Call of Duty killer. Let's move into another interesting conversation. I ain't gonna lie, like free looter shooters, I like free looter shooters, yeah, because the shit's free. You seen the Visions of Mono news? Yeah, I did. I don't know if I saved the article, but I did see that one. Apparently, I think Square plans to shut the studio down after it released. Good games, but people don't buy them like that. That's why I think the Nintendo Direct, what up, Chaos? The Nintendo Direct was so disappointing because there was a lot of games that look like that. Very niche games that I don't think a lot of people are gonna buy. And they announced the shutting down of the studio the day the game came out. That's fucking depressing. Oh man, we finally released. Oh, by the way, you're losing your jobs. Like, what the fuck? Another article that caught my eye. Baldur's Gate 3 developers explain why video games should cost more. Ooh, this one's gonna cause a lot of drama. Should video games cost more than they currently do? A senior Baldur's Gate 3 developer thinks so. According to developers, almost all games cost less these days than they should. He believes Rockstar's games, upcoming GTA 6, will change how games are priced when it launches. I hate that he's right about this too. Like, I feel like if 2K came out and, well, no, 2K doesn't count because I'm trying to think. Any other game came out and they're like, we're moving to all our games are going to be $100. They probably would get a lot of pushback. But if there's one game that can spike the price on a game, I do think it's GTA 6. I do think it's powerful enough. I think it has a chokehold enough on the culture that they could come out and they say, hey, the base game is going to be 100. We're going to have a gold edition for 150. And we're going to have an Ultra Super Saiyan Deluxe edition for 200. And we're going to have an Ultra Instinct version that comes with a statue for 300. I would not be surprised. Especially because the CEO's been releasing statements talking about the price of games shouldn't go up. Let's get some straight. Do I want this? No. But I am saying, just because I don't trust in what I'm about to say, if it don't apply, let it fly. Because I don't trust the average consumer, I do think if there's one game that's going to break through, it's going to be that one. And then what's going to happen is it's going to be a domino effect. Other studios are going to look at that. Well, man, our game should be $100 too. Next thing you know, you got Concord 2 charging $150. According to developers of Baldur's Gate 3, almost all games cost less these days than they should. He believes Rockstar's games with GTA 6 will change how games are priced. This perspective comes from Michael Douse, known as this dude on Twitter, who serves as the director of publishing at Larian Studios. Larian Studios are the ones who published Baldur's Gate 3. The conversation began in a Twitter thread where Douse argued that games should charge customers more at a base level due to the rising development costs. He added that video games should be priced accordingly to their quality, the breadth, and the depth, and that squeezing every game into certain price brackets doesn't make sense. This is such a tough conversation because I understand where he's coming from. Game development, as it does cost a lot, but then on the flip side, it's like, who told y'all that every game needs to be a $500 million budget game? Scale back, make more 10-hour games. Why does everything need to be a 100-hour adventure with an expansive world, amazing storyline, branching dialogue trees, and online gameplay? Plus it's live service where there's content. That's what I would ask the student. Who told you that that needed to be a thing? If your game is like that and it's good, i.e. Baldur's Gate 3, that's the only reason I'm entertaining this question. Baldur's Gate 3. I think Baldur's Gate 3 could have got away with 100. A Grand Theft Auto. What was recent? Elden Ring. Elden Ring could have probably got away with it. If you are a game that is adding value to people's lives, undeniable value, you probably can get away with it. But the problem is there's so many games. I don't want to say so many. I want to say it's enough games. Because then you're going to have niggas in the comments, see, this is why I ain't upgrading from my PS4. Because TBH said, and I knew it. It's so many games that it's not even, no, it's like a 50-50. And this is why you should come to me, because I tell you which ones are the good games. Let me be the guinea pig. Because there's also a lot of good games. Because I'm tired of PS4 niggas acting like 2023 wasn't one of the greatest years in gaming of all time. Just say you don't want to buy anything. Be honest. Be for real. But that being said, I'm also going to acknowledge there is a problem. There are a good amount of games as well that are not of quality and they're charging $70. That's a thing too. The truth is in the middle. This is why I said nuance is important. Context is important in these conversations. I agree to an extent because prices since COVID have went up. Everything will never go back. And then I feel that. And then another problem too is, inflation. The value of a dollar is not the same, $70 when I was a kid in the 90s is not $70 now. Matter of fact, what is let's see, inflation calculator to give people an idea. Let's see, 1913 to 2014. What? If in let's see, 1990, let's see, 94. Let's see, $70. So $70 back when I was a kid, we can round it up, was $150, just to give you an idea of how much the dollar is not worth anything. You also have to add that to the cost of labor, basically. So like the cost of labor is more expensive as well. Well, you said, wow. Yeah. So like for people who don't understand, because I do feel like sometimes gamers only view it from the perspective of themselves, because I get it. People are struggling, right? Man, why they want to increase the prices? Well, because the price to make the game also went up as well. Everybody's hurting in terms of the value of the dollar. That's what I'm trying to help y'all understand. Yo, Link, the inflation calculator? Here, I got you. Yeah, the cost of materials, keeping the building open to develop. It costs electricity, computers, manpower, the housing. Yeah. So like, I do feel like sometimes gamers only look at it from their perspective. From the developer's perspective, look how much they're spending just to develop these games. So that's why I said, if the game is good enough, you could get away with a price increase. The problem is, I feel like this conversation is hard to have this day and age. I feel like I feel like the gaming industry needs to have like a good 5 to 10 years where everything is just like fire for this to become a conversation again. That or scale back on the game development. We need more games that are only 10 to 15 hours and less games that are 100+ hours. That would fix a lot of things too, to meet people in the middle. Yo, shout out to Rucker with the sub. Appreciate it. $100 price with no bugs, no glitch. Yeah, no. If it's $100 for a game, I don't want no bugs, no glitches, no blue screens. That's one thing that I do miss about old school gaming that I feel bad for, like some of y'all younger people. I'm in New Zealand and the base game for Black Ops 6 is 120. That's right. Yeah. The Aussies are the same too, because y'all close to Australia too. Yeah, I know Australians and Kiwis, y'all pay a whole lot more money for games too. So I would imagine for y'all and Canadians too. I would imagine that for y'all, it's like you're super picky about what you pick because your dollar's not going as far because of all the imports and shit like that. But what was I saying? I lost my train of thought when he said that. We need like 5 versions. We don't need 5 versions of Street Fighter. Yeah, just do it a free update. I think, yeah, they need to scale back on games and we need to find like a happy medium. Because I don't know who said that everything needs to be $100 game. I mean, $100-hour game. Yeah, I'm from Montreal. We getting blasted. And I would imagine that sucks living in Montreal too, because not only are you getting taxed on the Canadian dollar for paying for the games, but you live in Montreal where there's no sunshine for like 340 days of the year. It's just snow and darkness. So you're going to be in the house and you want a quality game to play. God damn, bro. Shout out to my Montreal niggas, bro. That shit is sad, bro. That shit is sad. He added that video games should be... Oh, I'll go with that. The reason for this discussion was the base $70 price tag for Star Wars Outlines, which also had $130 asking price for the Ultimate Edition. Oh, you know what? If I could add to this too, I seen a TikTok and the dude was saying the exact thing that I was saying. The thing that I hate the most about the conversation that's going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows and even Star Wars Outlaws, because they're complaining that the protagonist is ugly, she should be prettier. But especially with Assassin's Creed Shadows, what I hate the most about the dialogue around that, there's been so much dialogue around Yasuke and whether or not he was a retainer or a samurai and a black man in armor in Japan and all this other shit, that people are missing the true enemy. It's like nobody noticed that Ubisoft jacked the price up to $130 for their highest edition of Assassin's Creed. They're sneakily doing that shit, but everybody's arguing about the black man in armor. I'm sorry, but that don't matter. We should be looking at, yeah, you're worried about the blacks. You need to be worried about the price of the game, because it's almost like Yasuke was a psyop. And these people who swear that they're beating the Matrix are the ones getting their ass beat the most. People don't want carriage, they want fat material. Shit's weird. Just go on the hub. Go on the hub. So for me, the truth is somewhere in the middle. The truth is somewhere in the middle. I understand both perspectives. People are hurting for cash, but also the cost of development is going up as well. And the only way you're going to get away with a price increase is the game has to be good. Oh, that's what I was saying, though, where I lost my train of thought. One thing that I like, I wish some of y'all that are younger would have got the experience when I was a kid was when a game came out, it just worked. And do you know why it worked? It's because it had to work. They would delay that motherfucker. And the reason it had to work is because there were no internet downloads and no patches, bruh. You might find like a couple little glitches in there, but usually it was never anything game breaking. It'd be like stupid, goofy shit, bruh. But now, because you can patch everything day one, it's like people don't care. I think the PS4 era did a lot of detrimental damage. DLC started with the Xbox 360 PS3 era, but it didn't really start moving till that PS4 Xbox One era. That shit did a lot of detrimental damage. It did a lot of damage to the gaming community, that PS4 era. Very few games back then had game yet, because even in the 360 era, games usually work day one. I feel like that's a retrospective the day gaming died. The PS4 era. Paying for 3 days early access is the true price of games. Shit is crazy. Talked to him, GTA was a finished game, and now you got people out here that'll never experience that, unfortunately. And the crazy part is a finished game doesn't even necessarily mean I'm talking about bugs and glitches. You also have the aspect of a game might be released and it works, but then they don't release all the content with it. I mean, we're getting DLC trailers we're getting DLC trailers a week before the game even comes out. Like, wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. It's one thing to release a roadmap and say, hey, we're working on this and it won't be done till X, Y, and Z, but it's in pre-production. That's one thing. But you're released, like Star Wars Outlaws released a trailer a week before the game came out for their DLC, and that bitch had cutscenes in it. Oh, that content's done. Oh, now you look kind of funny. Like that shit was done. That's what I mean also too when I say games were released done. Like, you guys are cutting content to charge us X's. We don't like that shit. We don't like that shit. that now you got to wait for the game to install on the damn disc. The shit is weird. But I will say, don't be surprised if this conversation keeps popping up. I think the only reason he's not getting flamed is because this is coming from a Baldur's Gate developer, which they made a great game. Like I said, if there's one game I do think could have probably got away with it, is the game that won Game of the Year. But a lot of these games, I'm not paying $100 for the first disappointment. I'm not even paying with my free time, aka free. What's the name? Niggas didn't want to pay $40 for Concord. Damn for sure not paying $100. Like, what are we talking about? Next article I got for you. Let's move on to something a little more positive. This is interesting. Penguin game set in the Batman universe. It's claimed. The Batman, which, you know, the movie that recently came out, was like a year or two ago, the Fire one? I think it was 2022. According to a report via Puck, WB could be working on a new game based on the Penguin that was set in Matt Reeves' the popular The Batman universe. The report claims that various WB divisions are beginning to collaborate more closely on properties like the upcoming Penguin HBO show and game, both seated in the 2022 The Batman movie. They add that when Zalaz took over, many advised him to offload games, but he still sees the games unit as a strategic thing. At this time, official sources did not confirm anything but the potential Penguin game nor an issue statement about the report. Also, Insider Gaming has yet to independently verify the rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. Further, Puck's own report mentions that the assessment could change soon regarding Warner Bros. Games unit, so nothing is concrete about that Penguin game. HBO plans to release their, we know, in September 2024. I guess what confuses me is, if this is true, let's act like it's true for a second. Who the fuck asked for it? Y'all want to play a Penguin game? For me, I play video games because it's a power fantasy and it's an escape. I don't want to... First of all, I think the Penguin is shorter than me. I'm 5'5". I don't want to play as no 3-foot nigga built like a tater tot with an umbrella that goes hoo-hoo. The Penguin is nothing but an evil short Mary Poppins. I don't know if I want to play that. The only way I could see a Penguin game working is if you don't play as the Penguin, but you play as maybe his underboss. Like you could create your own character, and it's like a Grand Theft Auto style game inside of Gotham. And there's like a Batman mechanic where, like, while you're committing crimes, Batman's hunting you down, but you can't fight him because you're not strong enough. I can see something like that working and have like some horror elements. That sounds like it could work. That could be cool. Yeah, the Mafia, like in Gotham type of shit. But if it's a game where you play as the Penguin, that's a hard pass for me. I don't know, man. What is he gonna have, an ability where you roll around as Sonic, a little fat ass, roly poly ass nigga? I'm good off that. Like Star Wars Outlaws, basically something like that. Yo, shout out to Ray with the sub. Like, why not just do a Batman game in The Batman? Especially because it's Rocksteady probably that's gonna be doing it. He can barely walk. Yeah. Like, who want to play a video game where a nigga do this the whole time? Just waddling the whole damn time. Like, I don't want to do that, right? And then, oh my God, God forbid they add a stamina meter in that bitch, like it's Elden Ring. You take 4 steps. You want your cornbread? Head ass. You said clip? Shut the fuck up, bro. But take it with a grain of salt, because this is just rumors. He doesn't have any source to verify, like just some stuff that's murmuring around on the inside. But we will keep our eye on this story. Just remember where you heard it here first. Don't be surprised if it does come into fruition. Your mini games are escaping fight. Oh man. You said this has been debunked? Let me see. Oh no, say it ain't so. Oh, this just came out today. This just came out this morning. I missed this. James Gunn throws cold water on the Batman video game rumor. Good look on the link. DC Studios CEO James Gunn has stepped out to shut down the rumors that the Batman video game is on the way. Word that an in-universe spinoff to the Robert Pattinson-led movie might be on the way started with Puck News report, which said that Warner Bros. Interactive was working on a game in some form. No details about the game would look like would be revealed, but it was said to be seeded in there, whatever. Sadly, there's no truth to this whatsoever, the DC head said. Even still, I would take this with a grain of salt, right, too? Because this is, first of all, they never confirmed it was real. It was just a rumor. There could be some truth that there were murmurs, there were conversations that a Penguin game could be in the works. But the thing is, what this could be also is, there was no guarantee this was ever going to come out. And like he was probably upset that this leaked because there was no guarantee that they were going to make this in the first place. So he's like, no, this is not true. Whatever. We don't really know. Either way, I don't want it anyway. So James Gunn is dead set on that Superman movie. Shout out to the 700 people. I don't know why. Take that all with a grain of salt. Take it all with a grain of salt. That's why I always say anyway. I do my best not to spread no type of misinformation. I always say take something with a grain of salt when need be. This is what I was talking about earlier, the Visions of Mana studio. NetEase Games is planning to close Visions of Mana developer Awaka Studios. This came the day of the launch of the game. We were talking about this earlier. And then people wonder why people hate these damn suits and shit. I'm not copping. I was probably gonna get it for the Switch. I feel like that was a good Switch game. I feel like the Batman VR game is pretty advanced. It does look good. I'm just not playing it, bro. I'm not trying to get Vertigo. I'm not trying to get it. Any fans of Dino Crisis? Hate to break it to you, it ain't coming. In an interview with Eurogamer, Mikami said that he was very surprised to hear that when asked about fan desires for a new Dino Crisis game, suggesting that Capcom had already covered the dinosaur fighting market with another series. The awesomeness of the dinosaurs and stuff you can do with the dinosaurs, that's been kind of really nailed down by Monster Hunter in recent years, he said. He went on to say that there wasn't sure if there would be room for a series where Capcom's Monster Hunter franchise remains so popular. So even if I were to decide to make a remake or a new version of Dino Crisis, I don't really feel there's a whole lot of space of that kind of game right now, just since Monster Hunter has become such a big game. But yeah, it is surprising. This man said, y'all like my games? What the fuck? My thing is like Dino Crisis was nothing like Monster Hunter. The only like thing that they have in common is they have like dinosaur type creatures, but it's completely different games. So if there's desire for it, you should maybe consider it. I've heard this before. People say, I've seen it in my chat. When they gonna make a new Dinosaur Crisis game? I don't know why he said that, because Monster Hunter isn't a survival. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a completely different game. The only thing they have in common is big ass lizards. But and other than that, like it's its own thing. To me, this feels more like he just wanted to promote Monster Hunter. Come on, guys, we got a new Monster Hunter come out. That's pretty funny, guys. Dino Crisis 90s. Oh, that was a good time. But Monster Hunter Wilds. Have you guys seen it? Which, by the way, I uploaded a video to Hokage highlights about Monster Hunter Wilds. But didn't you have guns in Dino Crisis? You did. And other good news. And also we got the data, because I think the internet needs to come up with a new argument. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a better argument so you guys can get better at debating, because the argument for a lot of people has been, we're tired of live service games. I hate to break it to you. I don't think y'all are tired of live service games. We got the numbers. The top 5 games every month on Xbox and PlayStation are live service games. Grand Theft Auto, Madden, 2K, Roblox, Fortnite, Call of Duty. And on PC, we got another live service game that y'all seem to like. A live service game that's not even out right now. It's in alpha. Valve shooter Deadlock has reached 100,000 concur. Oh, and even XDefiant, even though XDefiant is not doing good right now, it did break a lot of records. Y'all love that free shit. Deadlock is not even out. It's in alpha. You got to get an invite to this shit. And it has 100,000 concurrent players. This is their new MOBA shooter. It's in live. It's a live service game. So I'm going to go ahead and help you guys change the argument, because the internet, from what I see, swears they're tired of live service games when you're not. I think what you're actually tired of is incomplete games, and you're tired of uncreative games. But if it's creative, you'll give it a chance, even if it is live service. Because one thing that Deadlock is doing different is how it approaches the MOBA hero shooter genre. But then again, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change my argument. I'm just going to say, I don't think you niggas know what you want. It has nothing to do with creativity and live service. And the reason why, because I just had this epiphany. I was ready to defend y'all, but I'm not even going to defend y'all. I don't think y'all know what y'all want. And the reason being is the first depressant. Because my argument just was, it's not live service games. You guys like a lack of creativity. But then a lot of y'all like the first Descendant, which is just Diet Warframe, another live service game. It's Diet Warframe. Like, you want to play Warframe with a shitty story, a shitty loot system, underwhelming combat, but has a decent movement system? It's the same thing. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm going to go ahead and change my answer. I don't know what you guys want, but I'm going to keep bringing the data up so I can continue to make my arguments and press you niggas that you guys are liars. Once again, what I'm saying, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. You're allowed to enjoy. My argument has never been you're not allowed to enjoy live service games, because people keep twisting my words, especially people in the comment section of Hokage highlights. You're allowed to enjoy these type of games. My argument has always been based in people are liars. You say one thing and then do something else, because if you didn't like it, you wouldn't support it, which in turn means more studios would develop new games and different creative concepts. But here we have the data. And this game is not even fully out. You have to get an invite to it, and people are foaming at the mouth like zombies to get in, knocking. Let me in, let me in. I bet you better not let you catch you having fun.